my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, Professor Zeresenay Alemseged. He is a renowned professor in the Department of Organism Biology and Anatomy at the University of Chicago. He is one of our own, born in Tigray, and he is best known for his discovery of Selam, which is the most complete fossil of a child from 3.3 million years ago. This is one of the most significant findings in the study of human evolution. Professor Alemseged's research focuses on the origin and evolution of early human ancestors, and he has made a significant contribution to our understanding of the human development biology and the evolutionary process. He is one of the most prominent figures in the scientific community, recognized for his innovative fieldwork, commitment to education, and most importantly, his efforts to promote scientific research and discoveries throughout Africa. We are so happy, and it is a pleasure to be able to introduce you today and to be able to hear from you, especially for our youth. I want you to please pay attention, because this is how we're able to identify who we are. The research that he has done is able to tie us back to millions and millions of years ago. So without further ado, Professor, please come to the stage.
Can you hear me? Suma'adallah. I hope you can hear me. Thank you. Hayalom. Yaqani lay, yakhbr lay. ድሕሪት ዝረኣናዮ ጓይላን ናይ ደቅና ዘሕጉስ ፆታን ምዝራብ ቁሩብ ሃምብሊንግ እዩ ስለዚ ናተይ ፕሬዘንቴሽን አንታይ ክላይማክስ ዓይነት ክኾን ስለ ዝኽእል ቁሩብ ፅውር ኣብሉን ኢኹም ምክንያቱም ክንድቶም ኣብቲ ቅድሜና ዝነበሩ ቆልዑ ክኸውን ኣይክእልን. It's going to be hard to follow on the steps of those young people who are dancing in front of us here before us, but I'll try my best. ቀዲመ ኒ ዝኸበርካ ጀነራል ተኽላይ አሸብር ነቲ መስደመሚ ታሪክ ዝሰርሐ ሰራዊትና ወኪልካ ከምኡውን መንግስቲ ትግራይ ወኪልካ ስለ ዝመጻኻ ብኽብሪ የቐኒልና የኽብረልና እንኳዕ ደሓን መጻኻ ቀጺለ ንኹሉ ንመራሕቲ ዋዕላ ስለ ዝዓደሙኒ የመስግን ኩልኹም ድማ ስለ ዝመጻኹም የቐኒየለይ የኽብረለይ ብፍላይ ድማ ነቲ ናይ ኩለና ኣካባይን ሓብሓባይን ዝኾነ ህዝቢ ትግራይ እሞ ክንደይ መከራ ተፃዊሩ ዝነብር ዘሎ ህዝቢ ዘለኒ ክብሪ እንዳገለጽኩ ሰላምታይ ክቐርብ ደሊ ከምቲ ንፈልጦ ሕዚ እውን ተመዛበልቲ ከርተት እዮም ዝብሉ ዘለዉ ለማቕንን ሰምዖ ዘለና ኣፋፍነት እኳ ተስፋ ዝህብ ተኾነ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ድማ ብግልፂ እንታይ ዓይነት ፍኖተ ካርታ ይመርሖ ከም ዘሎ ስለ ዘይፍለጥ መንግስትን ፓርቲታትን ህዝብና ብምንታይ ዓይነት ፍኖተ ካርታ ዝምራሕ ከም ዘሎ ተዘፍልጡና ንኸፍልጡና እላቦ ይሓትት ምስ ህዝበይ ኮይነ ህዝብና ድማ ቀልጢፉ ናብ መረበቱ ንኽምለስ دقيم اللابو يحتت قال تاوني قريتا محتاج تيكونا زي تجبراوي ملسن راح يزحتت حزب تجراي دما يقبوي فتحن ديمقراسي وين بزوح يزقوادل زلو أب كرباز رأنايو ناي دايانو كاب سلطانو موراد عبي ملكتيو إزدي نمنتاي تفتيرو الكا مبرهره مهاب ترحتي كونس سور زسددت أجام كم زلو تقبل كا بفلاي تمز ملكتهم حلفتي من جد ديمقراطيين فتحن حزب تجراي نابي يوسدو خم زلو بقل سخردونا لهم سرحهم من السوس لزخنة سالساي قداي تتتاون بتعمي مسكفيو ناي تتتا حيل تجراي عدتها تأكيبا وان كم زي يخلون فولتوينا مسدم متاريخ السرح سراوتي زلنا يخون دا أمبر هز أونتين دا تجويا زقتلالو درجان دار عينا تيتسكفنا يأكل يأكل كنبل لنا اتمسدم من سراويتنا دما نزي عينت قداي دوم بالسلا زي أبي وحدرا خبل خيل أبزيت اللخا حاولنا ودشبر ون حدرا خبل كادل أمو حزب تግራይ ተንደጋጊሙ ዝሓተን ሰላም ዲሞክራሲን ልምዓትን ይሓትተሎ ይመለሰሉ ይግብኦ እዩ እኹል መስዋዕቲ ከፊሉ እዩ ያኽሎ ቀፂለ ናብዛ ንነብረላ ዓዲ ናብዛ ናይ ሎማዓንቲ ጉዳይና ናብ ሚኒሶታን ናብ ኣሜሪካን ክመልሰኩም መራሕቲ ዋዕላ ካብ ትግራይ ወፃኢ ንእሽተይ ትግራይ ጋህድን ምግባር ይፅዕሩ ኣለዉ ክንእዶምን كنحجزهم من دماء جبا قطرنا وحد سلا زخنا زباخن هفتي يبلنان عاب وشتي كومنيتاتنا زلو حر قوتن فرخ رخن نفولتو هنا كلنا مفتوحي ودما مهين مبالن بركالي مفتوحي ولون فلا لاينا ديمقراسيون معبلون بزخنا من جدي ناي مفتاح لمدي كنا معبل ألنا عاب مينيسوتا يخونا بأتلانتا عاب واشنطن يقول عاب سان فرانسيسكو زلو ناي وشت صقمنا انتي فتحنا بزعبا عاب تግራይ ዘሎ ጉዳይ تزرب علنا تزرب تحررنا كام مسلوينت كاب هيبوكريزي زحلف ጉዳይ كون سلا زي يخل عاوزي زلنا صقمات ون تمخاخرنا نفتحيو بوغني سلطون بزخونه وددر يامني أممغو الكسبات أممغو كومنيتات أممغو هاجرات سلطون زخانة وددر يدلي يخون دا أمبر سلطون وددر مالت نتصبو نجار عقبكا ناب زبلت عز وسد مالت أمبر متففان كخون يبلون حال يفون ريو نجارات كم أسلز مسلو زي دوك بلالو ما أخل حزب مقبار يدلي ما راحتي انت تشاغاچو تلو هاي زبل حزب منبر بسنكي مراحتي زفل على حزب حزنا روح كن كيدين خيرن أي كان نشتي حسابات حزنا كنتر حساب حزنا نامنا يمانتل جودجود وينا برابيت هول أتينا كنت حقاقي نمبر نمتو لوتي يلن سلازي كافتنا يمانتل جودجود وتينا بزعوات تقرأي راح نحسب كمتي مارتن لوثر كينغ زبالو كم أحوات بحادة من بارت أبينا كم عاشوا بحادة خنطفينا كم أحوات بحادة من بارت أبينا كم عاشوا بحادة خنطفينا أب متشونا إيكونومين ستتان بوليتيكان كنا تاتينا زلنا أبزعد نحنا ناي ديمقراساوي أبنت كنكون يزقبا كنيون نبلعو كنيون عرفولو كنيون نخدونو نحاسبولو عدل سلزلنا كافتناي مانتل غدغاد نوصا مخنياتوم اب كباباوينت الرأي زلو شجر ناي امانتل غدغاد اتيخا مچحغاغ مالتين بركالي ترغم يولون نحنا دما بخاري يكونان مانتل يكونان اتچرحنا حانت تግራዊቲ ሓደ ትግራዋይቲ ጉዳእ ተሎ ኩሉ ትግራዋይ ተጎዲኡ ሓንቲ ትግራዋይቲ ሓደ ትግራዋይቲ ጉዳእ ምዕብል ተሎ ኩሉ ትግራዋይ ማዕቢሉ ዝብል ክኸውን ኣሎ እሞ ሓደራ أبزي خين الجاجة إزين مسبولكو بتومنا وعلا حلفتي من البت أبزي تجرنيا زي سمعوا دكنا كهلو سلزخلو حد خلت حسابات بإنجليزية شوب بلي لو من اللومو نابع كحلف مو انتخ إلكم قرب ستتها زمسل نجر تزخبر صبوا نخونا نيرو I was asked to speak or to say a few words in English in order to be inclusive so those who may not understand Tigrinya can comprehend what we are talking about here. And my focus will be the group of TPN and the youth. TPN, you remember that we met before the war regularly. While Wa'ala leaders were engaged in many activities aiming at lifting up our communities, some of us working with TPN were engaged in educating the youth. We even had a lecture series on the history of Tigray. Some were educating the youth of Tigrinya and the Tigrinya language and Tigrinya culture. You will remember. And I remember the excitement. This was before the war. And then we met in Atlanta in 2021. Things were very different at that point. Suddenly, everything had changed after November 2020. Tigray was cut off from the rest of the world, and we all remember what happened to our people. I will not expand on this issue today. That is not the topic. And shockingly, we did not know what was going to happen. One day prior to the tragic event, I had no clue. And the 2 years that followed, were the hardest in our history. They were clearly the hardest for me. Today, we are not the same people. We're not the same people. None of us were prepared for what happened. It was an unprecedented quagmire, and that called for unprecedented and extraordinary intervention by all of us. But today, I'm going to ask the following question, a very simple question. What now? What now? I have personally decided to not lament the tragedy, but to start a new chapter without forgetting what happened. So, what is in the new chapter, you may ask? What does the new chapter contain? There is a lot in that chapter, but today I'm going to focus on what concerns are here in Minnesota, here in the United States of America, because that's where we live. And my answer is simple. I say, empower the youth, the youngest. That's the solution. How do you do that? How do you do that? Number one, we need to pick up where we left off when the war erupted. Whatever we end up doing, we will need always strong communities that know their history, culture, and language. And here is the beginning, you just see it. We just saw it here. That can only be achieved if we educate the youth using all possible means so they know who they are and where they come from. And we had a snapshot just a minute ago. So training, education, and organized visits to Tigray should continue as initially planned before the war. Our youth, the youngest, should experience physical contact with Tigray and not just sentimental and emotional engagement. They must go and visit Tigray to the extent possible. That's number one. Number two, we need to take lessons from the calamity that happened to our people. Clearly, we were not prepared, but through extraordinary mobilization, we contributed towards reducing or lessening the disaster. Every single of you here gave your time, money, sleep, knowledge, network, you name it. You gave it all. You gave it all so the world knows what was happening in Tigray in the darks. And thank you. Just imagine if we were better organized communities prior to the war. Imagine. So one of the main lessons from this tumultuous experience is the need for better organized communities. And if we did what we did without organization, imagine what would have been possible if we were better organized, if we were better prepared. That's number two. Number three, commitment, mobilization, organization are great, They're great, but they can only take us so far. Ultimately, creating or establishing strong communities here in the United States of America is the key. If our communities here are not politically and economically strong, our impact would be very limited, however committed, however mobilized, however organized we may be. And that's why I like Wa'ala's vision and their focus on the youth. We must ask, therefore, where are our community organizers at the highest level, representing our communities at the highest level? Where are the CEOs, politicians, artists, financiers, scientists, diplomats? Where are they? Yeah, I do see here many, or some at least, but that's not enough. Let's use those as our role models and do more. We need to be represented at the higher echelon by our members from our community. So together, therefore, we must ask, are our children competitive in whatever endeavor they choose to engage? That's number one. Are our business people penetrating the main market, the mainstream market? Or are they in that rabbit hole competing against each other? And when will we see, this is an important question, when will we see the first Tigrayan American senator or representative? This is not far-fetched. Human beings do it. We are human beings, so we can do it. You know, our success here comes from being successful Americans who never forget where they are from and who they are. That is the bottom line. That's the crux of the matter. So the youth, I see many of you here, and TPN should lead the way in three ways. Three ways. Number one, civic and political engagement leadership can be learned in your communities. Use your communities as a training platform for engagement and leadership. While you're helping your communities, you can learn leadership. It's a win-win situation. Yes, there is somewhere something to pay, but you know, as they say, good leaders take little more than their share of blame and little less than their share of credit. It will ultimately pay off. Please get engaged and learn leadership within your communities. Number two, be the leaders who connect and are connecting Tigray and with Tigray through technology, knowledge, and business transfer. And use that as an exercise for your international training. You know, the best way to find yourself, as Mahatma Gandhi says, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. It pays off, please do it. But there is something that is really missing in our communities, and it's very important, and that's number three. Connect your communities to other like-minded, non-Tigrayan communities. Connect your communities, our communities, to other non-Tigrayan communities, wherever they may be from. We do not live in an island. There are things that we can learn from them, and we do need allies, as we've learned it the hardest way during the war. You know, I love Hambasha. I love Kayih Sabhi. I love Tumtumo. But I also like sushi, shawarma, couscous. And I indulge myself in a big American burger when I'm hungry. There is no contradiction there. I enjoy gumaye nairaya, aurus naitamben, khabaro imbelta, as you saw it now. But I also enjoy salsa, reggae, classical music, French music. Please do not ask me to dance on the stage. You can find me at the floor after a couple of beers. But I do enjoy them. There is no contradiction there. Thank you. Thank you. So, we do not, we need a strong Tigrayan community, but you do not want to be known as that Tigrayan community, but a community that also moves and shakes things when broader things happen, like the elections. How are we prepared for the upcoming election? That could potentially impact Tigray, actually. So let's broaden our scope. But there is one very, very important point I would like to emphasize, and this is very important. By any measure, by any means, I'm not saying this is easy, nor am I suggesting every single person should or could do this. But we are in an era of specialization. Let's identify what intrigues us as individuals and as communities, what excites us, what motivates us. One thing I'm 100% sure about is we do not need war to be motivated. We do not need war to be mobilized. We do not need war to be organized. Do you know why? Because war is bad, and I would be the right person to tell the Tigrayan people war is bad. They know it enough. It's bad. You know, we took the war when it was imposed on our people, obviously, and our people are still not out of the woods yet. It's bad. As the leaders of Wa'ala consistently and rightly say, we want to see a successful Little Tigray that fosters strong communities here. Establishing Little Tigray, however, is predicated upon our understanding of the inner workings of the countries we live in our case, the United States of America. So in summary, at the end, I want to say to all of us, let's inspire our youth so they know about their heritage and who they are from, where they are from and who they are. Let's educate them about the great things that Tigray offers, and there is a lot, and I intend to play a major role in this front. As we do so, however, let's remember that this can only be achieved through mutual understanding and respect. To the leaders of Wa'ala and leaders of other communities and associations, I want to say, give the youth the guidance that they need, give them the guidance that they need, but the opportunity to lead also at the same time. The two cannot be separated, and that's the only way to guarantee generational continuity. To the youth, which is the main target, own, possess Little Tigray. Own Little Tigray by becoming successful Americans, but who never forget who they are and where they are from. Because if you forget your Tigrayan heritage, you will be like a desert traveler without a compass. You will not have a compass. But at the same time, if you forget that you live here and you're an American, you will be like the fish out of the waters. So I would say we must embrace both. We need the compass to navigate, and we need the water to both survive and succeed. And that's good for each of us. It's good for our communities. It's good for other communities. It's good for Tigray, and it's good for America. So I end by saying, let's come together and create our future. Do you know what the best way is to predict the future? There is only one way to predict the future, and that is to create the future together. That's the only way you can predict the future. So thank you, have a great evening, and as I said, meet me at the dance floor, but I'm not gonna dance. Thank you, have a good evening.